If you're ever stepping out, one of the major things you tend to be worried about is security cameras. Wherever you go these days, there's always a bunch of cameras watching your each and every move, chronicling everything that you do. In fact, the trend of surveillance has gotten so insane that you probably even have cameras installed in your home. I mean, after all, the last thing you want is for some pesky robbers to come and steal all of your stuff. Now, if you're ever told that you've just been captured by a security camera, there's a significant chance that you're probably just thinking about a clip of yourself goofing off. But there have been some truly weird incidents and clips that surveillance cameras have captured that may leave you racking your brain.
The mother took this cell phone picture of the image, bright bands of light only visible on the hospital security monitor.
Join us as we have a look at some strange videos that have been captured by surveillance cameras. Collateral damage. Some situations happen at random, and that just makes you question the fabric of reality. Like these situations basically concern two incidents that are seemingly unconnected, only for something to happen and immediately connect them in the most bizarre way. For the first clip, we see a situation where a man was trying to unload some packs of soda from a bus when all of a sudden this happened. Now, first of all, the guy is doing the unloading is really pretty bad at his job. I mean, everyone knows that if you've got to carry something like that, you need to either carry it from the front or have a stable back upon which you can place it. However, besides that, how on earth does it even happen? Like, what are the odds? The poor lady would be walking on her own, and she just got whacked by that bottle. Talk about a long shot. Killing boredom. Personally, I think that the people who do menial jobs are amongst the most important parts of our society. I'm talking about cleaners, security, waiters, and the like. They really are the unsung heroes of our world. Their jobs are not necessarily exciting, and they need to find ways to put some excitement in as they go about their day. This guy definitely gets it though. While working as a janitor, he suddenly burst out a sweet martial arts move. Now honestly, I don't think I have any notes for the man. His coordination was perfect, his stance was impeccable, and he spun that mop as though he was born to do it. This here is the kind of move that would make even the great Bruce Lee give a standing ovation. Good job, my man. Going for a swing. Have you ever wondered about the source of the beef that some animals have with each other? For instance, why do cats and dogs never really seem to get along? Like, they really do seem they'd be buddies if they were given some time to get to know each other. What exactly would make two animals treat each other like this? Honestly, the funniest part of the entire thing was watching the dog owner spin around as she tried to protect her pet. I thought dogs were usually the ones who did the terrorizing, but how come the cat is the big bully? It's all quite weird. Get me out of here. They say that crime never pays, and in most cases it doesn't. But most thieves who end up getting away with it only do so because they spend a whole lot of time planning. For some thieves, their execution is so poor that it makes you wonder why they even bother in the first place. Take this guy for example. He apparently went in to rob a bank only to become stymied by their anti-theft shields. Knowing that the jig was up, the unserious guy then tried to literally run out the door, as if that would also have been locked when the shields went up. The only saving grace that he had was another bank customer who walked in, and he used that opportunity to make a run for it. Good luck with that one, although considering the fact that security cameras already got his face, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have taken long before he was found at the police station. Save the pooch. Considering that we're just about to get into the beef of the winter season, I think that this is a clip that we can all find entertaining and also learn from. If you have a pet, you may notice that they especially love to explore. With the winter season coming and everywhere being icy, you may want to keep a close eye on them, or else they may end up like this. That little furry fella apparently wanted to check out what was in a small pool, but forgot that it was actually standing in a swimming pool that had frozen over. And with just a little bit of pressure, it went flopping right in. Fortunately for the pooch, its owner was right there to save the day, but the rescue mission itself was not without its own hiccups, as you would imagine. Of course, everyone was lucky to be fine at the end of the day, but I think that we can also see the lessons here. DIY panel beating. If you're ever driving your car and you slam it against something, the first thing that probably comes to your mind would be the cost of getting that little problem fixed. Panel beatings can cost a pretty penny, especially if the extent of the damage is done. That's pretty insane. Well, what if I told you that panel beating is not the only way to get things done? I mean, just look at this guy. He slammed his car into a pole, and instead of fussing over it, he got straight to work. First thing first, I'm willing to bet the guy had borrowed that car and was just looking to get it back without any damage. And secondly, why on earth was he not even wearing a t-shirt? Was he looking to beat up someone or something? People can be really weird sometimes. And he might not have done a great job aligning the car's fender, but A for effort. The organized bear. Anyone who lives in an area that's prone to bear infestation will probably be familiar with the feeling of fear and apprehension that comes with always having to look over your shoulder. That all being said, there are also some interesting periods when you see these grizzlies doing something like this. Apparently, those bears had invaded that neighborhood and were looking for some stuff to eat, but instead of just throwing things everywhere, this particular grizzly was organized enough to take things slow and rearrange the place as well. Someone needs to get him a social worker's jacket right away. Poor traction. Have you ever been in a situation where you just want to fool around and pass some time at work? Perhaps it's just so boring that you decide to amuse yourself. Well, I'm not sure what this little lady was planning, but it sure as heck seemed pretty amusing. Imagine being the boss of that place and checking your surveillance cameras, only to find that one of your employees was doing this. What an awkward conversation that must have been at the performance review. Fit of rage. If you're ever feeling as though you're having a bad day, trust me, I know how it is. You just want to break everything in front of you and not talk to anyone. But while you're displaying your rage in front of everyone, I think you may want to take a chill pill or two, or else you might end up like this guy. That's right, the guy was so mad, he forgot to put his car in park. And by the time he realized what had happened, let's just say it was a bit too late. Honestly, the guy was lucky that the road in front of his house was not busy. Otherwise, it may have been goodnight Irene for that automobile. Watch out! Speaking of cars having a mind of their own, check out this situation where a vehicle apparently decided it just wanted to shoot out one of its parts from its hood for no apparent reason. The car in this clip was apparently being fixed, and just as mechanics took a step back, this happened. Can you even imagine what would have happened if someone had been standing in front of the car when that took place? Talk about jobs that have a natural hazard. Mechanics really do go through it sometimes, now don't they? Losing control. They say that pressure builds diamonds, but pressure can also make the nozzle at a self-service car wash go completely bonkers. If you've ever been to one of these car washes, it's beyond important for you to maintain control over the nozzle, or else you could end up like this guy. I've actually never seen this happen to anyone, but I think I'd really be down to see it. How do you even lose control of a nozzle and have it go haywire like that? Keepy ups. Honestly, there are some surveillance camera moments that would be impossible to prove even really happened if that video evidence wasn't there. How else would you have been able to explain to people that this guy managed to pull this off? That pack of toilet paper was about to fall, but the guy managed to keep it up by completing a set of quick keepy-ups that would have made even Lionel Messi proud. And he did it all while looking pretty cool as well. Midday bath. You know, if there's one thing that I'm happy about, it's that I don't have to live in a place where there are frequent storms and floods. You know, those places where you could literally wake up one day and find the ocean in front of your house? Those are the worst. But take a look at these guys. They were trying to get out of their house, but the surroundings were just so waterlogged that it was almost impossible. The guy in the yellow shirt was obviously concerned about protecting his drink, and he really wanted to make sure that it didn't spill. But no matter how meticulous he was, things did not quite go as planned. I'm pretty sure that he must have had his bath before stepping out. However, Mother Nature decided to give him one more splash for the road. The poor guy. Breaking the gym. Generally, gyms are places where you go to tone up your body and really let the bronze do the talking. But I don't think that means that you should turn your brain off entirely. Because if you do, you could end up being like this guy. Apparently, the guy was just trying to move one plate from the dumbbell, but what he didn't seem to know, or rather he conveniently forgot, was that the plates needed to be even for the dumbbell to stand. And because the dumbbell was in an elevated position, its removal immediately caused chaos. The guy just got an additional bill on top of his normal gym subscription for that month, I'm sure. Swing and a miss. If you want to know the perfect indication that a person may not be so good at their job, it's probably when they don't even know how to use the tools that are at their disposal. Take a look at this person, for example. All they had to do was make sure that the clamp on the garbage truck had picked up this garbage can and emptied its contents into the truck, and they couldn't even do that right. If you thought that that was the worst, well, trust me, you've seen nothing yet. Not only did this person fail to do their job correctly, they also ended up destroying someone's garbage can in the process. Some people really need to get some better training. Crazy balance. Have you ever been in a high-danger situation where you need to think fast before stuff goes completely wrong? Because if not, I think you should take a quick cue from the guy in our next video. The people here were apparently looking to play a prank on their friend, but before he fell for it, he made sure to clear everything in his possession first. The guy literally cleared out everything in his pockets to make sure that it was all good before plunging into the ocean. He can get a bath, but I'm pretty sure he didn't want his phone and wallet to be swept away as well. I'm sure the guys who pranked him must have felt a little sense of disappointment with that one. Road rage. Have you ever been so pissed off on the road by what someone else does that you decide you're not going to leave without giving them a taste of your mind? Well, getting into an ego measuring contest with someone else on the street is not something new, but I really think that we should give a little more thought to the people whose lives our actions affect. Take a look at these guys, for example, who got into an apparent disagreement over traffic cones. Instead of settling their differences or finding an amicable solution to the standoff, they literally just took turns moving the cone from one spot to another time and again. Talk about an anticlimactic ending. It's all brawn and no brain. Poor weight distribution. I'm not really one to shame anyone for how they choose to live their lives, but I think there's just something inherently funny about this woman and the way she decided to move her body in order to prevent herself from falling. Do you know how crazy it is? I mean, the woman didn't even fall from a steep distance or anything. That was like the distance of a single step on a staircase. What if she had fallen off a fence? She probably would have walked into another country the way that she was going. Perhaps it's time for her to get to the gym. Domino effect. I've personally always been fascinated by dominoes. The concept of letting just one cause a massive chain reaction has always been interesting to me, but never in my life did I think I would see the fabled domino effect play out on such a grand scale. The guy must have been wondering what he had done wrong to deserve that. I mean, where or how does he even want to begin rectifying this mess that he just inadvertently made. Something tells me he won't be winning any Employee of the Month awards, especially after his boss sees that camera footage. Flex for the cam. You know that feeling when you just got back from the gym or the barber and you're sporting a fresh look? You want to look at yourself all the time, regardless of who else may be watching. Take this guy for instance. He apparently spotted a surveillance camera looking at him while he was at the grocery store, and he took the opportunity to flex just a little bit. Not satisfied with only flexing, he then decided to take things up a notch and show us all of his full package. And you know what? You can't even be mad at him. The guy knew what he was working with, and he wasn't afraid to strut his stuff. If I had a body like that, I would probably walk around all day without my tank top on as well. Color day. If you've ever had to handle a simple paint job, you know how careful you need to be. One simple error, and you could get paint all over the place, even on your own body. For this next clip, we see a supposed professional painter who was handling a task but got a little bit carried away while trying to cross a short fence. And let's just say that he got a little more than he bargained for. I think it's safe to say that the guy got more paint on his face than he did on the gate that he was supposed to be painting. I just hope that he has some kind of industrial soap or something, because he's going to be washing paint out of his body for the next couple of weeks. Premature movement. We already showed you the case of a car moving backwards on its own, but how about a vehicle that just suddenly decided to begin rugging forward? For this next clip, we see an insane moment when a fuel truck apparently decided to begin moving while it was being filled. Apart from the fact that the truck almost got onto the road and would have likely caused a huge incident, the guys just wasted a boatload of fuel. Something tells me their paychecks will be docked significantly by the time the month comes to an end. Robber gets robbed. You know, there are a few things that can give me as much pleasure as seeing a criminal get what's coming to them. Take this scenario, for example. The guy was looking to rob a woman on a scooter, but he apparently didn't think through his operation properly. The guy tried to steal her bag, but ended up losing his scooter in return. And the crazy thing is that I'm pretty sure the lady didn't have anything valuable in her bag to begin with. Even if she did, I doubt it would have been as valuable as the scooter the guy was on. Talk about an awkward conversation when she drives to the nearest police station and he has to turn himself in. Slip and slide. Whenever there's a bit of nip in the air, the weather gets chilly, you want to make sure that your car has a proper grip on the road. Otherwise, you may have to fight for your life when it ends up getting skittish. Take a look at this person. They were driving down an alley, but things got so slippery that their car made an emergency turn. Can you even imagine how scary it must have been? The driver must have been screaming their lungs out at that point, but thank goodness the car didn't hit the other one, just standing on its own. Wheelie fail. There really are only a few things that are as thrilling as riding a bike, and when you become such an expert at it that you can do tricks and stunts, it's even better. But not everyone is also an expert with bikes, and sometimes, just when you feel like you're about to perform a sick trick, you get a reality check. Apart from the fact that this guy was carrying tanks of gas and could have really hurt himself, he didn't even handle the wheelie well. Honestly, I feel the funniest part of the entire clip was the fact that his flip-flops just flopped off his legs like, we're not going to be a part of this. A sailor's nightmare. Remember that scene in Titanic where Jack dropped into the water just so that Rose could have enough room on that piece of wood? I think it's safe to say that we've finally gotten the modern sequel to that sweet gesture, albeit not so sweet. These guys were trying to move across a waterlogged area, but it appears that the man didn't notify his lady friend, and as you can imagine, the result was not a pleasant one at all. Considering how she fell, you would think the water had just swallowed her up and never spat her back out, but even as she tried to get back into the boat, she just made everything worse. The pirates really were right. The sea is one harsh mistress. Barbecued pot. You know, one of the best feelings is that one you get when you have a barbecue set in front of your house, and you're getting ready to enjoy some sweet meat. But in your excitement, you really want to also make sure you don't end up like this guy. Now, I really don't get it. Did he not see that the flower pot was hanging there and could have gotten burnt? And why the heck did he have the fire burning that hot in the first place? Haven't you heard of a fire hazard, man? Anyway, he was luckily able to get the fire cleared and defuse the whole thing before he burnt his entire house down. Surveillance cameras really help to catch pieces of pure gold. I mean, seriously, can you even imagine how it would have been to explain some of these scenes if there was no proof? Which one of these scenarios was the most fascinating to you? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.